Oh, there it is. You okay? I just got the pop up for it.
Oh
Yeah, you already had it.
yeah. No.
That Hansel Emmanuel guy played last night.
I know. I almost just tried to come up for him, but I couldn't time it up right.
He was supposed to play for us, but he showed up at like halftime.
Oh,
And then,
he was supposed to play for y'all.
yeah.
Okay, what was the most like wackest stuff tonight?
Probably the patio where the fuck we was at because
For Roland, Heart and Soul, but he's one of those guys that just moves effortlessly,
Yeah.
like in person.
They say he's really good and he's athletic.
Yeah, no, very. I mean, he just like if he gets any bit of open court, he just like glides 2 or 3 steps and takes off. It just I'm always like when people move that smoothly, it's like I'm just jealous, man. I just have to say it's just like it's awesome to watch. I mean, it's just like boom, I'm going. It's like it doesn't even look like he's one of those guys that when he's running and jumping, like it doesn't look like he's applying any effort. Now, I'm sure that he is, but it looks like this is just easy.
Yeah, for sure. They say he's going to be back next week.
Oh, is he? Okay, cool.
That's
cool.
what Will says. So.
He seemed to have like a handler with him too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I don't know. It was interesting. But no, I'm just athletically, he's pretty exceptional.
No, for sure. That's what's up, man.
Keith played last night too.
Keith.
Clinton.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I didn't see he was coming in as I believe, and they were the late game. But I talked to him briefly when he came in the gym.
I haven't seen Melo yet.
I don't know if he showed up or not. But later.
He was on the roster, but
yeah, he was
I
on
haven't
the roster.
seen him like this season yet.
Yeah, so it was interesting. But I don't. He may have showed up.
Have you seen
night.
Luke?
No, I don't even know if Luke was on the roster. To be honest with you.
Maybe not. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm thinking last year.
So, but yeah, no, it was good to see. Good to run into Keith.
Shout out to Keith. You're still on the bench. Well, you're on the bench. Welcome to the bench. On the Bench podcast with Bubba and Pink, home of sports, music, and mayhem. Don't forget we're available on all that I do mean, all podcast streaming platforms, including here on YouTube. Please like, share, subscribe, all of that good stuff. That was just a little talk about the H League in the beginning there, if you're here.
If it was out of context for you.
There you go. As far as today, we're going to be talking about a lot. We have some NBA stuff. We have some U.S. some world soccer. Of course, U.S. takes a unfortunate L. We got a couple of more World Cup topics as well. You got rest in peace to Nolan Wells there. We got a reaction to that. Big Tigger. A lot of other stuff as well. Okay. I wanted to, because
I got a lot of questions on a lot of these topics.
Yeah,
I hope you have some answers.
I'm pretty up to date on a couple of those topics.
All right, well, where are we gonna start?
Well, we have to start. Let's see, where do we start? That's a great question. I want to start in Philly. Of course, the trade that broke the camel's back last week and got me all excited.
Oh wait, that was after we did our show.
That was after we did the show.
Okay.
I went on social and did a little video to react to it, but of course was Jaylen Brown to the 76ers. And ever since then, the new talk has been LeBron to Philly. And it has like the smoke has increased a little by little each day. Even so much as the owner, the president, I guess you could say, and Bob Myers of 76ers, he went on the podcast of LeBron's friend there who had the whiteboard. And he sat on the podcast and made his plea for Philly. That was surprising because LeBron is not sitting down with any teams. So he said, okay, well, I'll take the fight to you. All right. And
no, you say LeBron's not like sitting down with any teams, and like, what is he doing, if anything? I haven't seen like much of anything from him.
No, we've seen a lot. So he's just showing himself around, doing whatever he's doing. But he went to Cleveland for a couple of weeks.
Okay.
And that was, that has just involved family, some older, but also around the Cavaliers arena and stuff like that, dealing with some he's friends with the assistant GM, things like that.
Okay.
He's
So he was in the facility at Cleveland.
yeah,
Okay.
took a picture, all of that stuff. He's been in the Bay Area. Of course, he had the couple of days with Draymond, some golfing with Steph. Steph just talked about it today, actually.
Okay.
And he said he told LeBron he's more interested in teaming up with him in golf right now this week. But he says he wants to give him his due time and whatever he needs to himself
Space
to make
to
the
make a
decision.
decision.
Respect the space to make the decision.
Okay.
So yeah, those are a couple of things that we know LeBron to be up to. But so Bob Myers going on here, and let me tell you something, man. This is like sports. I'm like jizzing in my pants.
Wow. That's big.
To get the guy
Prematurely or?
full on. This is a full on jizz if this happens. But you know what I mean?
Okay.
Right now it's just pre. But to get the guy for 6-7, I've been on this podcast trying to, and it's hard because Boston is there have been a fierce, we've hated Boston for thousands of years, but I love Jaylen Brown. I've been screaming to people he's been better than Jason Tatum for years. You know that. I've come on this show 1,000 times. And it was just a complete impossibility that trade could even happen. Like, that wasn't even a part of it wasn't a small manufacturer of an option. And so that surprised the fuck out of me. But then to get my second favorite player of all time on the team with my cousin, Jaylen Brown. He just found out his cousins was A.J. Brown. And I'm sure he's cousins with Bubba Brown as well. People find cousins when they're late in 30s and 40s. And then to get LeBron on top of that.
And Anthony Simons is up there.
Anthony Simons.
Local guy.
The local home team kid. And we were just in the same gym watching Bo and Tommy.
Yeah.
And the one-on-one thing.
He actually came to the OTB game.
Came to the OTB game. Everything is just coming together here.
Yeah.
And LeBron we need LeBron to finish the pie. And that would be such a great pie.
Bubba's cream pie.
Would be such a great pie, man. Now Philly wasn't even, we talked about some options for LeBron last week and the week before that. And again, Philly wasn't even an option, but now we're closing in. We're in the top 3 according to all reports and his homeboys. So you got Philly, you have Cleveland, and you have Miami. Those are the final top 3 teams. What are you?
So the Warriors
what
are
you
out,
feeling?
then.
Yeah, Warriors are on the outside looking in.
Okay. I think Philadelphia is the best option, and I don't think it's close. And ironically, I thought Philadelphia was the best option when he went to Los Angeles.
The first time, yeah. When he left, yeah.
And we could dig up the tapes. I was on that.
Yeah.
No, I just basketball-wise, I think it's the best option. I think there's the most talent there. He would have the easiest sort of transition into sort of finding his way as long as he's willing to kind of subvert a part of himself to be a part of that team. I think that in terms of like championship contention, that's the closest piece. I think Cleveland, the James Harden thing makes it a very difficult fit. And to be honest, I don't like the rest of other than Donovan Mitchell, like they have some okay players, but I like the young Philly players better than I like the young Cleveland players.
That's a good way to put it.
And then Miami, you have Bam, you have Giannis, and then I don't do that, and I don't like. I mean, he left Miami in somewhat contentious manner. It wasn't a burn down the bridge type thing, but he left it contentious, and he'd prove himself a 2-time bitch if he walks back through that door. I never thought he should have went back to Cleveland the way that ended, and I think he should not go back to Miami for that same reason.
Yeah, and I know it's LeBron, but like, why would Pat want him back in that building? Like, Pat was reported, like, he never came out, but all reports, yeah, he was pissed by the way that LeBron left, and he really didn't let those guys know.
But Pat's closer to death now, and
whatever
he
it
may
takes.
just want whatever it takes. And again, unless LeBron is essentially going to like present himself to the Heat, they're out of ammunition to do much else.
No, because LeBron is saying he'll take less, he'll take the minimum, so that's why Miami and Philly is on the board.
Right.
Well, Miami, Philly, and Cleveland. None of those three teams have the ability to pay LeBron, more than the minimum. They already, reached their cap there.
And that also means they don't have money to kind of do much more than what they already have on the table.
Which is why I wonder, like, because by all reports it's taking this long because LeBron is trying to see, okay, which team is going to make a final piece that may nudge him in a direction. But it's like, yeah, none of these top three teams that there are no more chess pieces unless he's waiting to see what Cleveland does with James Harden. That is the only hanging piece of all three teams.
Okay.
So because like I said last week, I still believe in his heart he wishes Cleveland. I think he wants to go back to Cleveland, and I think he's trying to talk himself into that roster. And I think Philly just over the last week or two emerged as a good roster, and then they had the star by Maxi's name because Maxi, since he's gotten in the league, and I think even since college, he trained with LeBron every offseason. Every summer he trains with LeBron. So they have a great relationship. And so Maxi's going to see LeBron in a couple of weeks, but I'm hoping this decision doesn't take that long.
Yeah, for sure.
But King, take your time. I mean, if you're going to have us as a legitimate option, take your time. I mean, because our roster is pretty set either way. If we don't get LeBron, I do think we need a forward or another big with size, and that leads me to my next point here. Next topic, still Philly, but Joel Embiid. Now, Joel Embiid has been radio silent by all accounts, social media, whatever, interviews, whatever, since the Jaylen Brown trade, and even with all of this LeBron hoopla. And, and I see some Philly fans on these, how do we know? We don't know private conversations, and he could have contacted Jaylen Brown or this or that. The night Jaylen Brown got traded, the next day he was on his Twitch stream. He didn't mention Joel Embiid once throughout the 2 hours that he's on his Twitch stream. He called and talked to both Maxi and VJ on that stream. Okay. And then, you take from this aspect too, since Embiid has been in the league, and this is every single offseason, no matter what kind of move Philly has made, whether it's being in the draft, he didn't say anything about LeBron either. He didn't. Okay. So whether it's every time we draft a player, every time there's a front office change, every time there's anything going in the NBA, period, but especially with Philly, it's a tweet, it's an Instagram post, it's a something. So to be radio silent, that's not Embiid. Something is up. Right. And Embiid, I'm here to tell you, we you're ours, man. We fucking love you. We fought to keep you as far as the fan base. We never turned on you. But, man, if you fuck this up with us with LeBron, if we find out through any type of channel or avenue, you're going to be on the first train out of this goddamn place. You understand? And it's such a there's such an opportunity here. And I know how he feels because he's been the man. But you've been the man leading us into destruction every year, and your body destructs every year. And so, you can't feel some type of way because there's another A1 guy coming in here. And Maxi was already emerging to be the best player on the team. And I don't know, maybe he feels like he's going to be the third, fourth best player on the team. Maybe he's not feeling that. That's the only thing I can think of.
Well, I was going to say, so you're thinking in all likelihood the Brown trade kind of made him feel like he's number 2 or 3, and that's why he's probably been silent. That's your operating theory.
Yeah, and
I ain't saying you're wrong. I'm just saying to kind of summarize
that's my theory. But the other theory is, Brown and Embiid has gone through it over the years. I mean, I don't think that's anything other than just competition. And, Brown called him a flopper and called Embiid a flopper. Embiid has always talked about Jaylen Brown push-offs and this and that.
Yeah.
That's all of that's water under a damming bridge.
You would think there is.
Yeah, I would hope so.
Now, my understanding, I thought LeBron was involved in convincing Embiid to be a Team USA guy.
He was.
And so I would look at it and say perhaps those two have a solid rapport, unless something went south during the Olympics, potentially. But maybe something's going behind the scenes with him being moved. And maybe that's
another one.
That's why LeBron's kind of sizing this up. He's probably aware, maybe, if this is, assuming this is a legitimate thing, he may be aware that an Embiid move might be coming, and he doesn't want to commit to Philly or anything else until he knows what that looks like, who's coming back in that move. And that would be prudent on LeBron's part if that's what's going on.
That's another great
But I would, if it's simply like an ego issue with maybe being supplanted as the face of the franchise by Jaylen Brown and/or LeBron and Jaylen Brown, that you got to be bigger than that, man. You haven't played enough in recent times when it's mattered most to have that mentality.
You just haven't, man.
That's the reality of it. It's not like you've gone out guns blazing every playoff. And if that's the case, if you haven't had enough around you and you're dropping great games and you're being let down, yeah, I might feel some kind of way that suddenly they're trying to replace me as the face of the franchise. But that's not where you're at, and you got to be aware of that. You got to have some self-awareness.
Got to have some self-awareness. So, yeah. Not the more I think about it, it's either that, the ego thing, or it could be an Embiid move under wraps. Because the Embiid move is more complex than Paul George. And to be honest, you got lucky with with the Paul George Jaylen Brown thing, because by all accounts, that was one of the first moves that the new GM was working on, was moving Paul George.
Yeah.
And initially, it was another trade they had in place that weren't going to get anything back, and we were going to have to attach Pics
for real,
just to get rid of Paul.
Talk
George.
About the the pendulum going back your way.
So that may be what's at stake for an Embiid trade, but at this point, and I go back and forth, man. I'm not sure, because with this team, you want to talk yourself into, Embiid just has to do this, that, and play a few games and be healthy for playoffs. But with this team. But honestly, that's kind of all we've been asking for the last couple of years.
For sure.
And so, and he hasn't been able to do that. And the problem with Embiid is you say that's all you need, but he only knows how to play one way. I think even if you get LeBron and you get all these guys on the same team, I don't think you get a different style of play from Embiid. I think that in itself could be a problem.
Yeah.
I think he only knows how to put up 25 shots, and that's without even adding the free throw line when that gets in, and he's I don't know if he has another style of play.
He's still not an upgraded passer either.
No,
because you could configure things where you kind of move him to places and rely on him passing to these talented guys or whatever. But he would really have to grow in that area for that to be something beneficial.
He's gotten better, but it's still not at a level, you would want it or need it at.
Yeah. He's not a natural passer.
Yeah.
He's improved as a mechanical passer.
And that's another reason why I think we really need LeBron. I mean, Philly last year we were second to last in assists. And I've been, screaming this the last couple of years. We've had 0 point guards on the roster. And and technically we have one. We just drafted the one from the Alabama, the Lebron guy, but he's going to come off the bench. So we have 1 point guard on the entire roster. So our guys don't pass, they shoot. Maxey, VJ, when Paul George was there, Embiid, all of these guys, they shoot first, pass, another day. and LeBron, so to bring in that ball movement and hopefully it catches, it moves like AIDS in the 80s and 90s, and you catch it and it catches fire, man. But I'm excited for this team, whether LeBron comes or not, because it shows competency. It's just we have a team that makes fucking sense. Now we were dead. Like Charles Barkley was talking on the podcast, and it was like, if anything, Boston could have looked at this trade and be like, well, we kind of give Philly life because we were fucking dead, man.
Yeah,
we were dead men walking. We were going to have to wait the 3 to 4 years when Paul George and Embiid contracts were up before we could do anything. And this gives us life. And we're competent, and now we can come into next season. Now we only have one max player that we have to worry about whether he's going to play or not. And then and we want to teach Philly kids to say no to drugs. And Paul George he's a crack addict. He's a dope fiend. And but yeah. So that's interesting. That's what's going on in the world of Philly.
Yeah, when we were in Philly the other week, me and Juan, we got in like an Uber, and Juan was asking about this place called Kensington Beach, and the driver just started laughing, and it's like, Juan's like, "What's up?" It's like, it's not a beach; it's where all the crackheads are. And for some reason, they named it Kensington Beach. But that's where you don't want to be in Philly. Apparently, that's where all the crackheads are, and there's no beach.
I was about to say, I don't think there's a beach.
Yeah, it's a landlocked city. Like,
I think it's a beach.
I didn't know what was going on.
But you think beach, you think nice, you think, yeah, that's a place I would want to.
Thong bikinis,
and,
all of that.
It's summertime.
Yeah, you got toothless crack whores, doing anything for a hit. So if that's your style, that's where to go.
No, for sure.
Yeah, that's funny.
You're still on the bench podcast here with Bubba and Pink. We usually go World Cup late, but I have 2 World Cup topics here today.
Okay.
I want you to tell us here the importance or what this USA loss really means, like, especially for us soccer novices. Now, here, there's a couple of people going in on Christian here. I don't know if you've seen these comments by Landon and other players as well.
Everybody.
So
yeah, he even got attacked by a women's national team player.
Oh, for real?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that was her on the other side, actually.
Carrie Lloyd. Yeah,
that was her.
I believe she's retired from the national team.
Yeah,
but she won World Cups with the women's team. Great player in her own right, and she was like, yo, what's going on?
Yeah. I had her comment up over there.
He's been our best player for a while, and he's really talented. He does well when he's healthy in Europe, but he's one of these guys that has struggled with his health. He's just not healthy very much. And in the last World Cup, he got injured scoring a goal in our last group game. I think he did play the last game against Netherlands that we lost. This Cup, he had started the first half against Paraguay was amazing. He was, every time he touched the ball, looked like something good was going to happen. And that's kind of his thing. He's a very quick, skillful, agile guy. And he runs into a lot of like dangerous places for the opposition. Sometimes with the ball, sometimes it's just as essentially a cutter. And that's kind of his game. But he got like kicked in the calf in practice allegedly the day before. And at halftime, he came out. And then he missed, I think, a game and a half. And then came back and just didn't have much of an impact. And again, I don't care what the standard. You're our best player. You're the guy that we look to. And you get subbed out of this loss an hour into the game. That's ridiculous. Like, and I agree with Landon Donovan. I mean, you'd have to pull me off the field. Like, I'm going on a stretcher.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a Ronaldo who's, you've heard of Ronaldo. Right?
Of course.
Yeah, okay. I mean, in 2016, they were in the Euro final against France.
Okay.
Early in the game, he had like I think it was a hamstring or a knee. And like he tried to play like a couple times. He went down, he tried to play, and then he literally collapsed in tears. He knew he could not play any further. It was over.
Damn.
And he got helped off the field, and they ended up winning that game though. And that guy, for all practical purposes, was the head coach of Portugal in the second half. The whole second half, like the last minutes of the game, there's the coach And Ronaldo's right behind him. And Ronaldo's gestures are bigger and stronger and everything. And he's like, he's got tape on the hamstring and he's directing everything.
Damn.
And they win. And like this dude meekly goes out, at the hour like he's just some random guy that didn't have a good day.
Damn.
There's a guy, former U.S. player, Taylor Twellman. And he's been in the media for many years. He basically said, here's the deal. I've met Landon. I've talked to him. I kind of have a feel for who he is. He goes, he's not comfortable being the guy. It's just not in his psyche to be the guy.
You mean Christian?
Christian,
okay.
Yeah. And it's like he's completely happy and he's probably at his best if he's like the third guy. Where he just kind of plays and does his things that he does. But the mantle of leadership, the expectation of the face of the franchise is just not who he is. And it probably burdens him more than it helps him. And that's just the reality of who he is.
He's like Kawhi without the championship, I guess.
I don't even know if you'd go that far.
Oh, yeah? No?
Yeah. No. I mean, he hasn't won anything.
I said without the
Okay.
championships, I guess. Yeah, Kawhi's won a couple of times.
That's like John Holmes without a dick.
I know, right? I know.
So, like, what's
my bad, Kawhi.
Yeah,
my bad, Kawhi. Paul George, I guess. I didn't want to keep ragging on Paul.
Maybe it's Paul George. Yeah,
I didn't want to keep ragging on
Paul George without the drug habit.
Paul George without the drug habit.
So I mean, at the end of the day, that's a big problem. And the reality is, at 27, 28 years old, this was his World Cup. This was the one where he would be at the peak of his powers and, home soil, all the stuff going.
Yeah.
At the next World Cup, he'll be 31, probably still a good player. But right now, he's looking at a situation where he may go back to England. He played in Italy for the last 2 or 3 years. And he may come back to MLS. And if he comes back to MLS, we better have some better players by next World Cup. That's just the reality of it.
Like if he comes back in MLS, he cannot be the best player on the team. Is what you're saying?
Not in 4 years.
Yeah.
If he spends the next 4 years in MLS, if he's still our best player,
that's a huge problem.
We've gone in reverse.
Oh wow.
We've hit the brakes and backed that shit up.
Well,
and not in a juvenile way.
Well, speaking of backing up, reversing, talk about, the loss for USA outside of Christian.
At the end of the day, we had a couple good vibes at the beginning of the tournament, but we've done nothing that we haven't already done. And the manner in which we lost, and to their credit, the United States, when they lose in the World Cup, usually they go down swinging. You go down and dudes are running and fighting to the very end. They got their ass kicked.
They laid down.
By a not good Belgium team.
Yeah.
Like, this was horrible. And I'm going to take a shot at the other asshole who got involved to get the red card reversed.
Oh, yeah, President.
Do not underestimate what that did to Belgium. It's not a coincidence that they were mocking his dance in the locker room and on the field.
For real?
Yes.
I didn't see that.
Yes. You have like a very average Belgium team. Their best players, De Bruyne and Lukaku, are like way past their prime. And they hadn't looked good one game of the tournament. They played 10, 15 good minutes against Senegal to steal that game. And that was it. The rest of the tournament, they were garbage. And they pummeled the U.S. 4-1. They were motivated. Their coach, their player, everybody went in on that decision with the red card.
He's building quite a resume.
Who is?
The president, because
he ain't building nothing, man.
I mean, like negative sports wise, like he shows up to the Knicks game. That's the only game that they lose. You got this situation, both 4-1 too. I don't know how connected that is, but
we need deep six.
And it may be another one or two that I just doesn't come to my memory. But
he does not belong in this.
Yeah, and
the way that this went down was stupid. Now, I felt from the moment the red card happened that it should not have been a red card, maybe a yellow.
Okay.
They didn't. I don't think there's really an effective formal procedure to appeal the card, but whatever he did when he reached out, they did not actually reverse the red card. They just took the 1-game suspension and said you have a year to serve it. It doesn't have to be on game day.
Right.
You could serve this at some other point down the road. So like that's such a bullshit way of doing it.
Yeah.
It's you could have, again, if he kept his mouth shut and whatever the FIFA corrupt people that they are, they could have said, and we could go into that too because they deserve hell as much as he does.
Yeah.
They could have said, hey, we've reviewed this. We've concluded under the laws of the game that there was no intent in this play. Therefore, we're reducing this to yellow, and this player is eligible to play. They could have done that without him. They didn't. And I don't think they have an effective procedure to do that, to be fair. But then you get this thing where it's, okay, well, we'll look at it. Here's what we'll do. We're not going to reverse it. We're just going to say you could serve your suspension anytime in the next 365 days so you could play in this game.
Yeah.
I guarantee you
That's crazy.
that galvanized Belgium. It galvanized everybody against the U.S. team.
Right.
There was nobody except for the Country Roads diehards that wanted that U.S. team to win the other day. And you took the feel-good story out of that team.
Out of the
U.S.
team.
The U.S. story, the energy, everything was down.
Yeah, because it was really good energy going into that game. I mean, had me hyped to watch it.
Yeah. And that's the killer because you again, like, people like you who are fringe fans, I'm sure you weren't alone. It got enough people. Hey, we might do something. And
right.
Then you watch that. That was, by any standard, shit. We looked bad. We didn't win any phase of the game.
Yeah.
We were terrible.
Yeah.
But I mean, honestly, the bigger picture, the World Cup took a horrible turn at that point, because right in that window of time, you had the disgraceful France-Paraguay game. Then you had all the bullshit with Argentina.
Yeah.
They have just, it's been ridiculous.
Yeah.
They got call after call against Cabo Verde. They got call after call after call against Egypt.
Yeah.
And there's a 5-man Argentinian officiating crew doing the Morocco-France game. And if you don't think that's going to be a fucking corrupted piece of shit, you're an idiot.
Skewed to which team?
Anti-France.
Anti-France. How did they? So a 5-man Argentinian ref team, but they haven't
Which has never happened in the history of the World Cup.
They haven't had all Argentinian refs at their games.
Ever.
Okay.
For any game.
Yeah, that's strange.
It's not strange. It's corrupt.
But FIFA is
controls that.
Controls it. That's why you said they're in bed together. Well, not whatever.
They're raw dogging each other.
That is interesting. I didn't know
it's
that.
Not. It's the thing is, it's not interesting.
Not interesting. I mean, like, for me, knowledge-wise,
it's
like,
blatant bullshit.
Yeah.
I mean, you had. I mean, even go back to the first game when Messi should have got a red card.
I remember that.
All of this is just. I mean, the tournament has just turned into a cynical dumpster fire at this point.
Now, how much do we call on the refs and say that they're, because in these other sports, when there's bad calls and things like that, we acknowledging it at the time, and then we move on very quickly, and it's just like, well, the champion is the champion because of X, Y, and Z.
I hope if it goes the way that FIFA wants, that this is never forgotten. I hope it stains the game forever. But more than anything, I hope it doesn't go the way they want it to go.
Okay.
Because you're talking 2 World Cups in a row that this has happened.
It happened last time
Yeah.
before. Yikes. Finish your thoughts there. Let me open this door.
No, they just, there's just plenty of stats that go, like, they get a card every 22 fouls committed, where every other team in the remaining 8 is at best every 15 fouls committed. So there's just a mountain of evidence that continues to develop that shows favoritism and bias in favor of Argentina, a team that by class and dignity and any other measure is unworthy of any of it. They are filthy swine as a team, and the way they play, the way they're benefited by the officiating, it's absolutely disgraceful. And if this is not stopped, I hope this tournament remains forever in everyone's memory as a disjointed, bogus bunch of shit. But that's about the sum of it. So, but may Argentina lose, may their bus crash, their plane crash, whatever it takes. So that's where I stand on matters. But Not too much more to add, Bub.
All right. More affluent podcasts. They have people to go get the door. They have people.
I don't understand why the door doesn't just remain open. It pisses me off every fucking time I show up.
But all good. All right. Now we'll return because I want to talk about the Mbappe exchange. At the end of the show, want to make sure we get your reaction to that. I know it's a week old, but still we haven't been able to talk about it.
Yeah.
All right, but moving along here, what I want to kind of talk about here is this Nolan Wells situation. This is another news story that kind of broke after we left last week. Now, long story short, a lot of people know, but Nolan is a guy who was hanging out with, a cast of white guys, his friends, and came up missing. Now they've recently found his body. That is him, and the family has hired a black lawyer, expensive black lawyer. So they're gonna
Ben Crump.
Yeah. Ben Crump. So they're gonna look into this and see what happens. One of the main
Florida State law grad, by the way.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
All right. There's a FAMU grad that's not having a great week. The senator,
Yeah.
But
Ben was FAM undergrad FSU law.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh okay. So in Orlando, right? You said no. Say that again.
He was a FAM undergrad. And went to FSU law. At the time, like he was, I think, a year or two ahead of me. We were in FSU law at the same time, but he was a year or two ahead of me. But there was no Florida A&M law school at that time.
Okay, at that time, because now they have the one in Orlando.
Yeah.
Okay.
FAMU law school.
You're kind of dating yourself, but that's fine. But yeah. So he comes up missing, and they find the body. It's him. Like I said, they're getting the lawyer. Then they interviewed the police have started to investigate it and whatever. They reached out to one of the guys, the white guys there, and the mom. They've all gone they deleted all their social media pages. Of course they're getting a lot of messages but they're full participants. And then the other one was just people on social media are drawing comparisons because there was a black lady that was the same situation, was around. She older, so she was around white moms. Right. My first initial thought is just like every other black person. It's like when you're hanging around. Let me give you an example. Of course, I went to two mostly predominantly white institutions, along with going to all black too, for anybody watching. But I went to Winter Park High School, was like a predominantly white high school when I went. Yeah. And then Rollins College is like 96% white. So when I was,
you might have been the only black student on the basketball team.
So when I was there, now there was two others because they're in this story. So there's two brothers, and we're at this party. We're at this frat house party. So there's 99.9% white people, and then there's us three black guys there. And I don't know anybody there for real. The two black brothers, I play basketball with them here and there, so whatever. And a lot of
they're actual brothers.
They're actual brothers. Okay. Yeah, not just like brother man. But and then the white kids, it's funny because we are close to the same age. I'm probably 2 to 3 years older than everyone at this time because I worked there before I started to go to school there, as a grad student. So they know me, know of me. They see me around all the time. But the brothers, they get up and they leave with the two white girls. And so shout out to them. And and so all of a sudden I look up and I'm in Snow White's paradise. There's nothing but white people. I don't know anybody here. And I'm like, yeah, I got to get that fuck up out of here. It's time to go.
Time to go.
I don't have a white girl to leave with, but it's time to go.
Any volunteers?
Any volunteers? Oh. And It's tough, man. It's tough because it's his friends. That's probably who he grew up with. I don't know what kind of community he lives in. Maybe it's predominantly white. You can't tell your kid don't hang out with all white kids.
This is in Mississippi, I believe.
Yeah.
Now the facts, as I understand them, are him and a couple of white guys go on a boat to an island that's in the middle of the lake or the river or whatever. And the last I heard, at some point he kind of goes off to a bit by himself with a girl on the island. And supposedly, as of yesterday when I last read, that was the last sighting of him that anybody's acknowledged. And then he doesn't come home. With the rest of the people do come home. The mom puts out the notice, and then they find a body like a day and a half later and identify it as him. So I haven't learned any additional facts since that.
Right.
And again, like you said, all the white guys have now lawyered up, which is suspicious as hell. What's the issue? If your friend innocently passed away, whether you had some information or knowledge or not, like, there's nothing to hide.
Yeah, because that sounds like a solid story. This guy, he goes off with a girl or whatever, but it's like, come on, man. And and I don't know. None of us knows what happens. We hope that the truth comes out, but then also it's like, the way our friend groups work, we're not leaving without, we're not leaving without this guy. If this guy never turns up, we're going to find the body. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's kind of how our friend groups work. So for them to go and be able to leave like that, and it just sounds fishy. It seems fishy. Now, they're young, so I want to leave wiggle room in these things. But that's just, I don't know, that's just not how we operate in our friend groups. And it's just, I don't know, it's fucking weird. It's fucking weird that there's been other situations like that too. And,
well, I mean, it goes to, in some level, then what is friendship?
Yeah.
Are they, essentially tolerating this guy in their friend circle and don't really care for him? I mean, that would be the implication if you're not worried enough about him to, either find him before you leave or call police or whoever needs to be called and say, hey, we can't find our friend and, we don't want to leave the island without him. So that, that raises, like, are you actually friends or are you not? I mean, genuine friendship, if it exists regardless of race, would say you're not leaving. You're calling the police if everyone's ready to go and you literally can't find one of your guys.
Teresa's commented, which she's right in the other room. But
what is her comment?
She said that it's unfortunate we often turn everything into a race thing, but you can't avoid it here. That's the problem. Sometimes I think, we can avoid it, ride down a different street, but this one is just a one lane highway. You can't avoid it. It's just right there in front of our faces. Now, whether this actually was racially motivated or whether they, killed this guy, I don't know. Maybe their great grandfathers were all Klans members. We don't know yet. This is Mississippi.
High likelihood.
Maybe they're carrying out their, what I mean, great grandfather's wishes. We don't know, and I'm not saying that that's what happened, but it's like, something the fuck happened. Who is this girl that he went off with? How did she return?
Right.
What is this? That probably be the first person I'm interrogating.
Yeah.
And and it's funny that she says, turn to a race thing, because of course that's Black Twitter, and a lot of older Black people have these things. And I always say the most racist people on this planet are actually old Black people. But of course I think they have the right to be. Being what they've went through and all of that stuff. When I was a kid, I was probably 10 or 11 years old, and I told the story on the show actually with Roger. It's we grew up together. We were homeboys, and his dad came to pick me up. And for the weekend, his dad is white, mom is Black, but my granddaddy, I told him, I say, hey, I told him earlier in the day, hey, I'm going to, spend the weekend with my homeboy, this and that. Yeah, Roger, he's been over here before. Yeah, that's all good, da-da-da. And, but when he seen that white man get out of the car and come to the door to come get me for the weekend, I mean, he just totally flipped. You ain't going nowhere with this motherfucking white man. He didn't say white man, he said something else. But, and that's, Black people just got something. Now, to say that this kid should have, I don't think he should have that spirit that a 70-year-old black man should have. But damn it, man, I don't know. I don't know. And I have friends who hung out with all white friend groups as well. Like, Said and Derek, we grew up together, but they had all white friend groups going to Winter Park High School.
Is that still the case?
They have yeah.
Like still to this day,
I don't know.
Have they kind of come back?
Kind of come back. It's more so because of who you grow up with, who's in school, who you're in school with. I'm not saying that they're seeking these people out to be friends, but that's just the case.
Well, that kind of like the kind of one of the things that I've kind of noticed. Like, so I've coached basketball for a long time, coached in high school since really the early 2000s, and so I've seen this kind of cycle happen, and it's like when you're in high school and you're on the basketball team, and basketball team will tend to be, racially diverse, if not maybe more black kids than white kids, depending on what high school you're at. And in those high school years, there's a certain like proximity and hours spent with this group, and you will see typically kind of some interracial friendships and dynamics like that.
Right.
But get out of high school, go to college, go into young adulthood, get married, and you start posting pictures. And it's extremely rare when you see like a white guy post any sort of picture with a black person after they get out of college.
Yeah. It's
rare. Yeah. It's extremely rare. And I also feel that it's also rare on the other side of that. That a lot of times that that black people will have more black friends than white friends, and be more comfortable around other black people than they will with white people.
Yeah. And
it's just one of those things. And I remember I did a show with Ernest a long time ago when you were in Atlanta, I think. And we kind of, there was like a Facebook thing that was kind of talking about like, friendship between white people, black people, and whatever. And it's like a lot of interracial friendship is predicated on a common space. An office job or a job setting, a sports team, a specific activity. School, class. It does not connect where it's really a true integrated friendship, where you go to my house, I go to your house, and we actually spend time together that is personal time. That's just been something that I've observed in people. And I think that there's something real to that. Is it 100%? No, and I'm not trying to convince you that it is. Of course, but it is something that in your life, that's what you will typically see or typically participate in as you move through your life. I always laugh too, like when you watch like an NBA player, NFL player, and bear in mind your teammates are 70% black at best, or at least, and you'll see like a white guy get married, and he'll post this big ass picture of the wedding. And a lot of times there's no teammates there that are black. None. Yeah. Like, that's wild to me. Yeah. It's noticeable, though. I mean, I see it. And there's, it is right. We can't deny that a lot of things in this country and globally, and we're seeing in the World Cup, are race-based. Yeah. It's just the world we fucking live in. Your boy Speed got abused the other day. Yeah. I mean, he was at a game. He had some field side access, and he's got Argentinian fans with the monkey bullshit and all this other stuff. It's like, what the hell? And I'm not a big Speed fan, but like, he's just there. Yeah. I mean, you could hate Speed because you don't like his content. Don't hate him because he's black. Right. Exactly. Exactly. And that's why I always say, man, like that type of hatred just don't die off, man. No. And it's been rejuvenated. It has been rejuvenated in many ways. In a lot of ways. Yeah, in many ways. I remember, and it's like we go through waves of different things that happen. Like for a while, we had the police brutality thing, and it just goes into different avenues of it never stays the exact same. But yeah, man, no, that's crazy. But to end this topic here, I just hope we find out exactly what happened, whether they had something to do with it or not. And we just get something concrete on that, so the family can have some closing on that, man. And just so we have some understanding, and that's the thing, like to the point Treese made, it's like if this was not race based, Like, let the facts come out and
put
let's
that
see.
out. Yeah.
Let's see. But what we know of this country, what we know specifically about white people and specifically white people in the state of Mississippi, yeah, this don't look good.
Yeah. And hopefully, either none of those kids, but I'm sure the white kids were. But hopefully, they weren't any of the families that Brett Favre took, food stamps from.
If they're riding around in a boat, they're definitely not the families that lost food stamps to Brett Favre. They're probably Brett Favre's friends and have them on speed dial.
There you go.
Some of them might even have extra dick pic from Brett.
Yeah, he passes them around like hotcakes.
Hotcakes in the Waffle House.
This girl sent me a IG post reel of the meme or whatever, and it was like guys, different poses guys take with the dick picture. She was like, which one was you? And it was like, this, or like this. It was like, you got the remote lined up to it.
Did you fess up?
There was one of them that was like my main
Your go-to?
standing up, whatever.
Standing up, whatever.
Because a lot of guys be on the bed, I guess. I don't know. I'm not a dick pic consumer, so. But, I would assume.
You're just a producer.
I'm just a producer. There you go, man. Just a producer. To another producer here that's in the news, Big Tigger. A lot is going on.
So I got a lot of questions about
there's a lot
this.
going on here.
So,
The very first thing I saw was him and his wife wrestling over this phone.
yeah.
And and that was funny to me, and it's a lot there. And then I guess yesterday or today I hear about the wife is been arrested or picked up or whatever for kidnapping of the daughter. So basically what happened with that? Go ahead.
Okay. Well, yeah, you remember you're gonna explain, but is the daughter missing or dead
No.
or alive and back with the family?
Damn, that's a great question. I think she's alive and back with the family because all that happened is that she left the kid in the hot car while she went to gamble.
Okay. So it wasn't like it wasn't like the kid went missing and nobody could find them.
Right.
That's what I was like, dude, a disappearing, like, what's going on? Like, is this a missing child still? Or
Yeah. And I don't want to say that's all that happened because that's a big thing, right? Because she was in there for 8 hours.
Right.
That's a whole work shift.
And, like, how old would the kid have been at the time that occurred?
That's a great question.
Like a toddler or something?
It would have to be.
Because you would think if it's like somebody who's like 12 or
They can
15, or
get the
they would
fuck
get
out.
out of the car.
Yeah. So definitely.
Maybe
You said
that-
how old? 10.
10. That's right on the cusp.
Right on the cusp.
Why did you get out of the car?
Right on the cusp.
Yeah. I don't know.
Maybe child lock.
Maybe, but I mean, come on.
And then that's
you
cruel.
can get to the
Why
front
would you
seat.
child lock?
Your own kid. But what? I mean, 10 years old, man. I would hope I have enough savvy to get to the front seat and unlock the child lock.
I would hope so.
Go out the front door. Maybe even enough savvy to drive that bitch home.
I would hope so. But they only teaching ABCs and 1, 2, 3s, not
So she's a chronic
Critical thinking
gambler
skills.
and phone theft. What else does she got going for her?
The phone thing.
And a shitty parent.
a shitty parent.
Why do we care if she got beat up? Might have done us a favor.
And because everybody was ragging on Tigger during this video. You know what I'm saying?
It wasn't a good look. I mean,
It wasn't a good look.
he didn't even look like he was a good wrestler.
I wouldn't doubt that he leaked this news about the. He had to get some heat off of him.
Yeah,
You know,
for sure. Good call there.
You know what I'm
PR
saying?
team, I know a few things we need to get out.
We gotta get this,
Get out, brothers.
get this back circulating.
But
man.
he didn't remind anybody of Khabib with his ground game.
yeah. Come on, thank you. Come on.
Oh, Jesus. Gotta have a better arm.
Appreciate you. So and okay, now the whole phone thing. She's wrong for taking the phone. Now, if she knows your password or you don't have it locked or whatever, let's get this out of the way. You're behind the 8 ball. You're fucked anyway. Okay, you were leading yourself into a battlefield with no soldiers in the first place. If you don't, you know what I mean? That's like bare minimum. If you don't have a lock on your phone or she knows your password and you haven't changed it or whatever, you're already dead. Okay? Number 2, if that is not the case, whatever, she gets your phone, maybe she just snatched it out of your hand while you already had it unlocked, which is it seems like that's reasonable.
Might have been,
yeah, to assume here. Okay. If you're that close to her, and this, and I'm telling too much game here, but you can't you can't be in a close proximity to your old lady and you got bad shit in your phone. You just can't be. Anything can fucking happen, man. You just can't be. You gotta be a delete person. You gotta be a two phones person. You're Tigger. You got money. I don't know.
Can't get a second line.
And once you do all of the theatrics, it's already over. I mean, she knows there's something in there. Yeah, it's something in there. And you're in a tough spot. I'm not saying that. I don't know. He's in a tough spot because once she gets the phone, you're fucked. I don't know. Because I guess you could say if you do wrestle her and get it back, she never really saw anything, so she can't really be fucking mad.
Yeah.
But you did do a lot to get that phone back.
Yeah.
That's tough, man. I don't know. I don't want to sound like a seasoned veteran and not coaching him because I don't know.
You kind of did.
If I'm in that scenario, I don't know. I probably have to do the same thing, I guess.
You were like Nick Saban, man.
Play by play.
Oh, that's too funny.
You gotta come to practice, Tigger.
Yeah, no, it was a terrible look for him. Yeah, I don't know. I who knows where it goes? Reconciliation, divorce.
I mean, well, whether he put this news out or not about the daughter. I mean, I don't know if you want to be continued involved.
And that's not his daughter, right? That we're talking about. That's the daughter she had prior to him,
right? Isn't that right? That's not exactly his daughter, right? You don't know. You don't know nothing.
So
yeah,
not a good look for him, but a funny story for us.
It's definitely a funny story.
What about Marcellus Wiley?
Yeah, I know. Yeah, man, Marcellus. With his wife. It's not. Assault.
Assault. Yeah.
And
well,
rape.
She was alleging multiple rapes.
Yeah, she was claiming multiple rapes.
So.
Yeah. Now.
But then he came back. He had like his side of the story type of thing, and he was kind of saying how she'd had like multiple affairs and was kind of not a good person, and that he was kind of enduring all of this to be there for his kids, and that was kind of his take. And
I think that is 1,000% the case. So Acho, the guy you don't like, of course they did a show together for a couple of years.
Okay.
Acho and Marcellus Wiley.
Yeah.
Now, after the show, Marcellus Wiley, like I said, he created a platform where he only talks about other media members and their down. So he talks shit about Acho a lot. Yeah. So they don't have a great relationship after
rightly so
this working relationship. But Acho came out and he said, he knows about the allegations and this and that. What he can give to us is that he has seen Wiley's wife cheat, and he saw it? Well, one time his Nigerian friend she was out with like this rich Nigerian guy.
Okay.
And
Nigerian gangbang for the win.
And so I haven't seen Marcellus Wiley comments about it, but that one story there. And see, and the thing about here goes the bashing women part of the show is one once they have this conflict, and for her to go to the level of he's raping me and beating me up, because the one assault, his daughter is whatever old enough to talk and know whatever. I think
they were in town for some sort of like sporting thing for the daughter.
Yes,
like she's old enough to be doing travel sports or whatever.
Yes, the police asked her, hey, did you see your dad doing because she said he was hitting her too, and she said no, I didn't. He didn't touch her or do anything bad. Right. And so and the wife's account was that some of that was in front of
I did see that was her account. So
it's hard to fucking believe her. I think that once this conflict happened and she couldn't get a leg over and he probably had concrete evidence that she was cheating, she just went to the top mode that she can go. Hey, he's raping me and beating me.
Yeah.
And in front of our little daughter.
Yeah.
And I know that he, whether it's true or not, I know that he has this media platform and this space, and he's dying in it. He's going from radio and TV to his own, I don't want to say little podcast because people do watch. I watch sometimes, and
we're not the biggest podcast the world has seen.
Right. And so to knock him from that's cold, man. That's cold fucking blooded.
That's how women fight, though.
Yeah.
I mean, have you known any other way? No, seriously.
Yeah,
that's the thing. I mean, there is a weird psychology, I believe, that women are seldom going to win a physical conflict with a man. And so they are wired and geared to fight in a non-physical way, but in the most brutal terms that you can.
I mean, and that's brutal.
That's what it is, though. That's how they're wired to handle conflict. Because they can't go toe-to-toe in physicality, but they are going to go and find something that is going to provide the most leverage threat against you, whatever that happens to be. But I always again, I'm not certain that something didn't happen and Marcellus didn't do something inappropriate, but it is weird to me, like a guy that is that big and powerful. He's beating people up. Like, they're ending up in the hospital if this is really happening.
Oh yeah, he's a huge guy.
Like that, yeah, that's what I'm saying. This is not there's a point where if what you're saying is true, like there's physical consequences to this that put people in the hospital.
Yeah.
Not just like, oh hey, let's carry on and whatever. So
what do you think about rape in marriages? Because that's something you do hear, but you don't hear it every day.
Yeah.
That's another
it's very, very tough. I mean, I think I've always felt that rape in a relationship is very hard to define.
Yeah. And
it would really, for me to be convinced, would really have to involve some extreme circumstances, some unnatural acts. Some things where it's just clear and unequivocally, inappropriate. Because again, this is not to say that rape's impossible, but I think that in a lot of relationships, the sexual dynamics can be, interesting in this sense. It's like, one of the partners may propose some sex, may kind of come on to the other person, and they may not be interested in that time. But it's probably not uncommon for that partner to kind of continue pursuing it and the other partners ultimately give in.
Yeah.
Is that a rape? I'm not really comfortable saying those situations are criminal rapes.
Yeah.
Are they always pleasant? Probably not. And I'm not saying that this is, not endorsing this is what you should do, but 100%. I think it's a reality in how two people interact sexually when they're in a long-term thing. And sometimes you want it, sometimes you don't. We talked, I think it was a couple weeks ago, when you first meet somebody and it goes to sexual, it's like, hey, everybody's ready all the time. Let's go. There's no such thing as, no. But inevitably, the longer you're around a person, it becomes more likely or more frequent that I'm not in the mood or whatever, and so if you stopped at every no, you'd be celibate. So that's that. But
that is if you're not Big Tigger, he took matters into his own hands.
Well, I'm saying if you're trying to be conform to the relationship,
right? Exactly.
So yeah, but yes, but I do think, I think you could certainly present some facts that would fall into a rape.
Yeah.
I do feel that you could, if the conduct's extreme enough or inappropriate enough, you could definitely do that.
Yeah.
Particularly I would, again, a little bit of speculation, but I think in a long-term relationship or a marriage setting, to me the rapier ground would be like specific acts that a person's knowingly not comfortable with that are kind of imposed upon them by the partner.
Yeah.
You know.
And you just went through explaining all this. So I'm not asking for an explanation, but it's just like when you get to the court of law, how can you prove rape in a committed relationship or marriage? It seems like an impossibility, I guess, just to piggyback off of what you're saying.
Oh, it's extremely hard. And just taking this from a legal perspective, I did an internship at the state attorney's office when I was in law school. And basically, my role was involved a lot of paperwork, but then observing trials that occurred over the course of the thing. There were 2 rape trials that I witnessed. Neither one resulted in a conviction, and they were both rape allegations in the context of an existing relationship. It was not like, hey, I met this strange person at a bar and they did X, Y, and Z to me.
There you go.
It was not that. And the jury did not accept either argument. They acquitted the person. And again, a lot of the testimony was, you know, hey, they'd been together for X amount of time. They'd been doing these sexual things together, and like, you know, this person. The other thing, and it probably applies to the Wiley thing, in both cases there was what I would describe as a triggering event that wasn't sexual. The woman who was both the accuser in both situations was mad about something. One time it was that the guy had taken her car and used it, you know, beyond the time that she wanted to do it, hit the car being used, and then the next time they had a sexual encounter, she wasn't comfortable with it, and then it became a rape charge. And then the other one, I can't remember the particulars, but there was some sort of non-sexual event
conflict
that became a trigger. And like, again, if that's the case you're putting in front of a jury, you have a Mount Everest style climb to convince a jury that that's
see, damn, I would think it's just like, because in their mind they're probably like, I said no, and that should be it.
Right.
But yeah, but what the judges or what the jury is saying is that you guys had a conflict or argument, something happened, which led to you saying no to having sex, and that had something to do with their decision.
Absolutely.
That's how I take it.
Yeah. No, I mean, again, and that's the point I'm making. Like, when you have the context of a relationship, ups and downs, past sexual history and practice together, and then you kind of have this pattern of behavior, you know. And again, like, questions can be like, well, had he ever done this before, and had you ever comfortable with that before, you know? And like it's very hard. And
then you should, like, as the woman, like, you know, because in a rape you almost should force a guy. It sounds crazy, but you almost should force a guy to, like, hit you or do something physical to you, because if not, you're just saying no, and you're just laying down and taking it. You know what I mean?
But I think there's a lot of psychology that like in that type of heat of the moment situation, that as bad as it is, that may be the safest path of behavior. Yeah. That like physical active resistance. And I'm not saying it's wrong to do either one. You're gonna do what your reaction tells you to do. And if you're being raped and you're the victim of this, I'm all for you doing whatever you can do to kill the guy or whatever it takes. Yeah. But there is a psychology that sort of the just kind of not resisting may be safer. Or like, you, at least in the moment, you will believe it's safer to do that. Because if you fight or agitate this person, then maybe it turns to a murder. You know, so and this is there's a lot of things going on. And again, I do think though, like on the other thing to consider with these kind of relationship rape scenarios, you are kind of like, you know, as the victim, in a lot of ways, you're kind of stuck. If the guy's physically stronger or more aggressive, you have that problem. You also have your potentially, you know, most likely in your place of residence. Yeah. There's no easy escape with that. You know, there's a lot of things going on that may incline somebody to, you know, not resist as much as humanly possible in these situations.
No, 100%. And you know, and with the Wiley situation, the news will probably, you know, come out, and whether he's guilty or not, which I it's hard for me to believe that he is, but even then, it's still a damper on his career and the progress he had. Now you have to stop podcasting for a little bit. until the storm blows over and all of that foolishness. But all right, moving along here. Another thing that happened here locally, actually, there was a big crash right here in Castleberry, Altamont area, and 2 people were killed in the collision. But of course, things like this happen, every day in Florida. You would know best as, with your job and everything. But 2 reasons why I wanted to bring it up was, one, the guy who killed the guy. I know that I know him. I'm pretty sure you've seen him around too.
Okay.
His name is and stuff is all in the news. It's already been caught and all of that. But don't need to say his name here. But I and it's not like I know him or friends with him, but he's just always in the same places I'm at.
Yeah.
In the same type of gyms and friend groups, and basically what has already been reported is all on these news sites and all of that stuff is that he was fleeing away from the police because he had a decent amount of fentanyl.
Okay.
And so on this chase and on this thing, he runs into this car, kills 2 people.
So was he like actively being chased, like sirens on?
So that is what's being argued.
Okay.
And that's what brings the podcasting in, because so a lot of people are angry and upset because of the chase. And there's and it's, at some point, and I wasn't aware of this, but at some point police are not supposed to chase people. Did you know that?
I know that there's been a lot of debate about the value of chasing people, because of the harm that it potentially brings. Now, as a personal injury attorney, I have had a handful of cases where the accident arises out of somebody attempting to flee the police, or sometimes the person that actually causes the accident is the pursuing police officer. So they may be chasing a car ahead, and maybe they run a light or whatever, and they hit just an innocent person. And so there is a lot of legitimate debate of what are we getting out of police chases? Is it worth the danger? Now, if you've gotten close enough to get a tag or whatever, you could follow up, investigate, try to do whatever. It's not perfect, but you're not going to put anybody on the roadway in harm's way. And the other side of that is, well, hey, by the time we get around, if this guy had this fentanyl, he's not going to have it anymore or whatever. Okay, we live to fight another day. Everybody does, and so that's part of the argument. Now, if you have something where the chase itself is like the immediate harm, like maybe somebody did like a mass shooting type of event, and they're fleeing in a car, and we know this person armed, and we know that they're already willing to shoot. To me, there's probably going to be a wider prerogative to pursue that person who's presenting an active danger versus somebody that may just be speeding, or maybe they have some contraband or something like that. So to me, if I'm looking at it, I think there should be some discretion as to what exactly we're chasing, with a priority for safety of the community at large. The other side of that coin is if this guy's moving a bunch of fentanyl, how many people have died from fentanyl?
You see what I'm saying?
It's almost like so it's very tough.
It is tough. And what the police are saying is that they started the chase, but by the time he had hit this other car, they had ended the chase. Is essentially what they're saying.
Convenient for them.
Yeah, I know, right? And but the people are blaming the police now. And again, it's such a fucking it's tough because again, like this this guy, I'm familiar with this guy. But I don't think the onus should be on the fucking police. I just don't. Like, 2 people lost their lives, and like I said, this guy, like I told that story a while back on this show about how, I was in that police chase, not me, but I was in the car, and my sister and her boyfriend, he was driving, and I actually sent that story to him when he got out of jail.
Oh, yeah,
and he was it was fun for him to listen to. But anyway, like, he's a phenomenal fucking driver. So he's weaving and wiving, but everybody can't drive like that.
No, for sure.
And and I think everybody in the streets, they understand what is at stake. When they accidentally kill someone or have to kill someone or the drugs that they're selling, all of that, it matters and means something. It's just not happens, whatever. You can't put the blame on someone else. Is basically what I'm trying to say. That's you. That's the risk. That's the risk of the game. That's all of that is a part of it, and and whether the police started the chase, ended the chase, didn't or don't, they're not going to do any time for killing these folks.
Yeah,
and that's even before you get to the fucking fentanyl.
Yeah, and it's tough to there's a part of me that agree. Like, okay, if I choose to live a criminal existence, if I choose to live a certain type of way, like I'm accepting that this could end in violence for me, that it could end in jail for me. Like we kind of talked about that scenario the other day. And so like I get that. But the victim here is two people driving in a car. It could be me, it could be you, it could be anybody we care about. And that's brutal. Like they're not making any decision to say, hey, I'm going to be in this life and if it's,
that's super brutal.
If it's a short
and I'm
ride.
saying if I'm the family of those people, if I'm whatever, I'm pissed off at that guy who's
100%. 100%. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Now, I won't say that because that was a cheap comment. I was going to say, if we could sue the police or whatever, we will. But
you can though. I mean, but it's,
I know.
It's very hard. It's very hard. The problem, the big problem for this family is, from a civil claim perspective, is that what is the likelihood that there's significant insurance coverage involved, if at all?
Yeah, if at all.
This guy who did this could be no insurance, whatever, and maybe he goes to jail for the rest of his life or 30 years or whatever. But you're not, as a family, you're not getting any compensation. And they'll probably look at the police as a potential pocket to say, we know what the police are saying, but if there's some evidence to indicate otherwise, that maybe they were still aggressively chasing, and maybe there's an argument that they bear some responsibility. But it's very hard to recover from public municipalities, like cities, police, fire departments, for negligence, and they have like a statutory cap where you can only get so much in the best of times.
Yeah. She just sent me the video here. I wish they didn't have this video up, but the helicopter was on them.
Okay.
So I guess that counts as them
being
actively
pursued.
chasing.
Yeah.
Alrighty. You're still on the bench podcast with Bub and Pink, home of sports, music, and mayhem. We had another decent traction on the question, so I'm going to bring it back again.
Oh yeah.
And I have a different question for you today.
Good.
Okay. All right. Okay. Would you rather find your absolute soulmate at 18 and never know what else is out there, or sleep with a lot of women but never find the one?
That's funny. The predicate is that, the preface is that a true soulmate exists.
Yeah.
So if you accept that premise, then you're probably better off going with the 18. But if you don't accept that premise and just feel like we're all these kind of flawed, fucked up individuals trying to get through life, then it's very clear you should keep smashing.
Disease-free smashing too. I'm gonna add that in there.
Is that even a question? That's a real trickery. This disease-infested fucking. Like, come on, what are we doing?
That's a really tough question, man. That's a really tough question because I don't know. Because at a young age, it was a lot of fun to smash a lot of women. I don't know.
But it's still like, do you believe that a soulmate is a real thing?
Yeah.
I mean, if you look at a soulmate like Santa Claus and the Easter Bunny, and some mythical, Loch Ness monster in Scotland, like it's not a decision to make.
But for me, I'm baking in that the soulmate exists.
Well, but
it's still tough for me.
But
it's tough.
It says a lot about you.
That's
great. That's great.
It's tough, man.
Yeah, I don't know. That is interesting. It's tough for you.
But a lot of people do struggle with that, with acknowledging or believing about that soulmates, whether they exist or not. I do hear a lot of talk about that, and I guess the people who are in these long relationships and think they found their person, never really had any huge issues, they'll probably say, yeah, this is my soulmate. I found my soulmates. Soulmates do exist.
Yeah.
And then, of course, the people who have been shitted on or do a lot of shitting on probably don't think so. So, yeah, that's the difference there.
Yeah. No, that is it is an interesting question, but I do think it turns on your belief in the existence of a soulmate is a real thing.
No, that's not bad. That's not bad.
Where are you getting these questions too?
I am making them up.
Really? Oh, that is something.
Isn't that something?
I thought you were doing some website search.
No, I only have 2 more, so I may have to end up going to the internet. But I switch things up
it's
so much.
It's still possible you could think of some other questions.
No, I sat down.
I've got 2 more. Like, that's it. Like, I'm never coming up with another one.
That's how my brain works. So, because I don't know if you noticed, but I always come up with something to add to the fucking show.
Yeah.
Whatever. The top 5 shows we're watching.
I've been
stories,
here for almost every damn show.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like once my brain, I come up with a group, and that's gonna be it. Then I'm gonna move on to the next. The next whatever shit, whatever that may be. I don't even have that yet. So, I may bring back. I thought about bringing back the just the saying of crazy rap lyrics. Remember that I did that for like a show or two.
Yeah. That was short lived though.
It was short lived. I know. That's
that one of the shorter lived segments.
I know. That's why I didn't see that all the way through. Really quick here. There's a couple says a wife's viral American flag pedicure revealed men are willing to pay $200 for her feet pics. Now, we've talked about feet pics on the show before, but when I saw this and this was trending today, I just said, just another reminder for my, female family members and friends who ask for money. There's other avenues, man.
You got some other avenues.
There's other avenues.
Clean up the dogs and get to posting.
If you need
in a pinch.
If you need a $50 investment to get them right first, how much it costs? 50, 60?
For a pedicure?
Yeah, for a good one.
About 40 to 45.
Oh, nuts.
If you need a $45 investment.
I do mine all in one, so it's about $100.
Okay.
Yeah, if you need a $45 investment, I'll help you out there. I want my money back on the back end.
I was gonna say they gotta pay back the loan.
I mean, the first pictures get $300. The first guy. You know what I mean? Matter of fact, I need a little.
Do guys have
extra.
Do guys have too much money that you're spending? I mean, like seriously, $200 on a picture of somebody's foot? Like, come on, that seems crazy.
It's funny you asked that. It's funny you asked that because it's like not necessarily about feet pics, but it's funny how I find myself sometimes spending just foolish money on things, and
this begs the question: what is your most foolish expenditure?
And then also lending money out, and then also paying all the bills, and I still have a little money. It's like but I know I don't make I don't make that much money, and then it's like the guys that I am lending out money to, what the fuck are you doing with your money?
Right.
But anyway,
it's
back
just
to
an endless cycle of financing foot pics.
That must be what it is.
You're loaning the money out. They're using it for that. They need more money. They go back to Bubba.
That must be what it is, man. They're spending all their money on these damn feet pics.
I laugh like way back in the day. Like we were down in New York City. I was probably somewhere between 18 and 21 college age. We were down in New York City rambling around, and my friend's cousin was with us, and he's like, "Hey, can you owe me $40?" And I we were drunk. I gave him $40. Apparently, he bought cocaine with it. And I was like, "Damn!" I was like, "I got an assist in a cocaine purchase." I was like, "This is crazy." So yeah, but I don't know, man. That my first big assist. But.
Let's take a dark turn here. What if that cocaine was laced with fentanyl way back then?
Well,
and something bad happened. Would you feel bad?
I was too drunk to feel anything that night. but full circle
That's
though,
what she said.
that same dude eventually died with the drug thing.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So, which again, I'm not a drug guy. I definitely, People have their reasons for doing it, but I just don't think it ever ends well.
Yeah.
And it's like, if you have any, inkling to just be like, if you're gonna go down that path, like analyze it before you go down it, because it does not end well.
No.
That's the reality of it. Whether it's fentanyl or whatever, or just the general violence around drugs or the destruction of addiction. It's just not the way to go.
No, 100%. Two more quick ones here. China has launched a fat prisons, a military style camp designed to help people lose weight for only, $600 per month. Where they get, accommodation, meals, and extreme exercise classes. So you get the whole 9.
For $600 a month, I kind of thought like we have fat camps in the U.S., but I think they're pretty pricey.
Yeah.
Like I've heard of people getting sent to fat camp, but I think you're probably spending tens of thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
But that's actually pretty solid.
It is, especially if you're getting fed. I mean, because what
not much.
What are you spending? Yeah, not much. Enough to live.
That's not a buffet line they got up going there. So yeah,
that's interesting.
It's an interesting concept. I mean, you're going to be stuck in this structured environment. It's going to force you to do things that will result in some weight loss. I would be interested to see, like, do any people end up dying in this camp? Like, we're just pushed too far and they die. Yeah. And then you're in this, like, unique, isolated bubble to do this. Like, what is your transition rate when you get out of the camp? Do you put the weight back? I mean, again, some people are going to succeed with it. Some people are going to fail. Like, what type of success rate do you have 6 months down the line from people that have been in this camp? 30% have kept the weight down and are living a good life. 50% have basically put the weight back on and it hasn't helped. So, I mean, that's how you kind of measure the success of something like that. But, I'm not against the concept. I assume because you're paying the $600, you're not forced to go.
Yeah.
That you do have a choice to say, hey, I'm going to give this a shot.
Well,
I mean, it's different if they're
China.
snatching people off the street in a windowless van and putting you in fat camp. Like, that's kind of a little tough to accept.
No, 100%. Chris Brown has gotten another woman in trouble. So, married woman who kissed Chris Brown addresses the situation. It was just a friendly kiss. I didn't cheat. I just got carried away.
What's the difference between cheating and getting carried away? You might not have a more womanly explanation.
Yeah.
It's not cheating. It's just a friendly kiss, and I got carried away. Like, what the fuck are you saying? You're saying 3 different things. Like, if it's just a friendly kiss, then you didn't get carried away. You operated in the confines of a friendly kiss.
Exactly.
If you cheated, you cheated, and this whole I got carried away. Like, this is just, you're kind of just saying everything and, throwing verbal spaghetti on the wall.
A lot of men are just mad because they're not Chris Brown.
I didn't want to kiss that hoe anyway.
Swipe down from the top of your.
No, that's all right. That's all right. What's funny is I would have, I don't want to say it's so much fun with this situation, but it's like,
from what perspective?
From the man. If I was her
if your girl,
if I'm the guy,
kisses Chris Brown.
I'm a guy that lives for situations where I can get a leg up on things and I can kind of
really.
Yeah, and this is because I this is not a fireable offense for me. The only way I would really
fireable.
It's not really a fireable offense.
You do work in HR.
I know, right? So one of the main things is if this was out of town, if she was like out with her girls and out of town, that does add a little extra wrinkle because it's like, okay, yeah, he could have found you and afterwards you could have fucked him and whatever. I would have never known.
Yeah.
But if it's like in town, and she's just going out to catch Chris with her girls or whatever, whether I'm there or not.
Well, wait, I mean, if you're not there, how does it matter if it's in town or out of town?
I'm going to assume that concert ended, she came home, everything's fine. I understand things can happen backstage, but I'm not I wouldn't add that into that's a lot. That's a lot. She would have, She's not. She looks good, but she's not like backstage hunchable good. Right after the show.
All right.
Chris can do better. I mean, fuck it. He had Rihanna. I mean, you know what I mean?
Found her a bit distasteful.
Now, my thing is, so I'm not, like I said, it's not a firearm offense. So my thing is, okay, a punishment has to be had here.
Okay.
A punishment has to be had.
Bubba the Punisher.
We're not just letting this ride off. You're not just going to, I didn't get carried away. You know?
So what's on the table for punishment?
That is an awesome question.
It was also an obvious question.
We're going Chris Brown kiss. She goes viral. She went viral too. Okay, so I'm going at least bare minimum. I need head every day for 2 months. I need head every day for 2 months.
61 days of head.
Regarding,
but make sure you don't do Black History Month.
Yeah, because it's a shorter month. That's right.
That's right. You're missing 2-3 days ahead.
I don't care about your mood. I don't care about what else you have to do. We're not no trips during this time.
No trips.
This is,
No trips. What's with the no trips?
I need you here and available. Okay? And that, okay?
And then while you're receiving, are you going to be like talking Chris Brown shit?
No Chris Brown played in the house for a couple of weeks at least. That's a part of the punishment.
Might just be easier to move on from you.
It's a steep punishment, but things have to happen here.
Let's reset the table with a new man.
Things have to happen here, man.
Hey, Belva, you may be overestimating your value. Oh, geez.
All of a sudden, she gonna be thinking more of herself because she kissed Chris Brown.
Well, that's what I say with the shit tie. You kiss bitch down, now where you are. You're under Bubba's ball sack.
Don't forget those too, motherfucker. While you down there. Fuck is wrong with you? Going up here embarrassing me like this, and everybody knows. Nigga got my last name. He might be my cousin too.
So here's the scenario: you reach the 61st day. You've gotten all your head. Chris Brown's back on the playlist, and you're walking down the street, and you're with your girl, and somebody's, "Hey, aren't you the one that kissed Chris Brown?" Do we get to extend the punishment?
We gotta extend it, man. Extendo. Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
That's crazy, man.
That's great.
No, that's crazy.
Did you think Chris Brown ever catches hell from some dudes whose girls have
Where's that remote?
gone too far?
Yes. I mean, but online, like not seriously.
Nobody's stepping to him in person. Nah. Okay. Not going to sort this out amongst men.
Nah. Some of these guys. I mean, Chris is not like a super physically imposing guy, but he's not like one of these tiny guys.
He's an athletic guy.
He's athletic.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I don't know.
So I kissed your girl and whooped your ass. Where are we now?
And let me tell you something. Rihanna not an easy motherfucker to take down. Just look at it like she's just a little something.
Rihanna was tougher than you, pal.
You know what I'm saying? Got that Caribbean blood flowing through her, all that. I have a quick video I want to play. I almost forgot about this.
Okay.
Now this girl here, she does a lot in the what do they call these people? I want to say influencer, but she started out as just a big booty girl on Instagram.
Okay.
And
it's a good start.
She's now gotten into a whole bunch of stuff. Now she interviews people on the streets and all that stuff. But she gets a lot of views. A lot of people watches her.
Okay.
This is her downtown in Orlando.
Oh my. Is she from here?
That's a good question. I don't know.
Okay.
I actually reached out to her one time, not to get her big booty, but I wanted her in one of my projects.
Okay.
So shout out to her. We talked for a little while. All right, here we go. Let's see. Is this muted? No, it's not muted.
Okay, what was the most like wackest stuff tonight?
Probably the patio where the fuck we was at because
Shit, come back.
that shit was $40 to get wherever the fuck the real niggas be at because
Okay, let me ask you, are there guys in Orlando still buying drinks for girls?
fuck no, these niggas cheap as fuck. They swerving down that they doing that shit, but they really not. They not doing that shit.
Let me ask you, does size matter?
As far as like weight or like
It's size, does size matter?
It say nothing to
As far as,
me.
like, weight or like, it's size, does size matter?
It say nothing to me.
Now, I have a strong reaction to that, right?
Imagine you would.
As a recent long-standing guy who goes downtown and looks for women and you go do all that, you know, my first thing to her is like, come on, be fucking for real, like be for real, man.
Maybe
When you're
she
talking
is.
about-
she's kind of big. Maybe nobody's buying her
When
drink.
you're talking about the guys, and this is the issue I have with that, and this is the problem. She cannot blame the guys of Orlando for not getting her drinks. She has to blame the top bitch in the group. The top bitch in the group is responsible. It's her sole responsibility for getting drinks and other things for the not so fortunate women that are a part of that group.
Ah, gotcha.
That's just the thing. And so if she's not getting what she needs or from the Orlando nightclubs and from the guys that are in these places, she gotta talk to the top bitch in her group. That's what she has to do.
So we can safely assume she's not the top.
No.
It's quite a group. Huh?
That's quite a group. That would be quite a group. And
It only goes downhill from here. Wait till you get 4 deep.
Jesus Louise. and that's as we get further removed from the great 90s and 2000s that we love so much, we lose the principles and the rules and the things. That's like the top girl in each friend group. That they have a lot of responsibilities and jobs, and that is one of them.
What other responsibilities and jobs do they have?
Well, I'll tell you this. Her responsibility is to protect the top girl. That's the girl who comes around. No, you can't take her home tonight and all of that.
Oh, yeah.
So she has responsibilities as well.
If you're taking her home, you got to take me home, too.
2 for 1.
Sorry, I left my truck at home.
2 for 1. And well, 2.5 for 1. I don't know. But yeah, and so and the top girl, like I say, drinks or whatever, like they get attention. Hey, you got somebody for my girl, that type of thing. Those type of things. That's what the top girl is supposed to do.
But is that the move though, to solo approach the top girl with a group of girls with her and then have to buy drinks for everybody?
Of course not.
Okay.
What I'm saying is when a guy is always going to come to the top girl. I mean, if you need to be, you need to appoint the right top girl. Usually she just naturally asserts dominance, and it just is what it is.
Watching your boy go across the bar and like pick the number 3 girl. Thinking he's getting the top dog.
Thinking he's getting the top dog, right? Because I was gonna say I do when they go for 3 or 4, but I don't want to. People are watching. I don't know 3. But anyway, you assume the guy's gonna come to the top girl, and the guys who come to the top girl, those are the guys who typically are gonna have more money, a little more motion, a little more things going on, and so that's why normally she said, "Well, you can't get my girl a drink," or Well, we're drinking Long Island or something,
We're drinking top shelf.
You know what I mean? We're drinking sex on the beach,
I'm more interested in having sex on the beach than watching you drink it on my dime.
That's why there's always this conversation about, does a guy have to pay for the whole friend group, or your friend?
Yeah, no, I
when you
think
go out
that's
to
that's
dinner or
wild.
something
I
like
think
that.
that's wild. Yeah,
Yeah, I know.
yeah.
That is wild. but-
Divide. You gotta be more of a divide and conquer guy.
Yeah.
Separated from the herd.
Yeah.
Bounce.
Not always easy to do in a club atmosphere, though.
Yeah,
Which
club
she is.
atmosphere is different.
It's a little
though.
tough.
It's very tough. I don't really understand why that's a good atmosphere.
Yeah.
For that very reason.
Yeah.
Like you're not gonna do much with conversation.
No.
You're gonna have to do it with flash and
If that's
cash.
your skill set.
Well, it's just flash and cash, really.
But I'm saying, like, if conversation is if that's your powerhouse, if that's one of your
yeah, if that's one of your weapons.
if that's one of your weapons, that's a tough environment.
The club is kryptonite.
That club is kryptonite. That club is kryptonite. There you go.
That's funny.
Alrighty. One of the last things I wanted to talk about here was I wanted you to kind of go through this Mbappe exchange.
Oh yeah.
Now he responded today or yesterday or something.
The other day, yeah.
The other day. So he had this racist exchange. What's funny is you sent me that on IG, and I was like, "Is this fake or something?"
Right.
Because and
It was so over the top.
it was
and
so
outlandish.
over the top. And then the editor sent me this. She's like, "Hey, you seen this?" And I was like, "Yeah, Pink just showed." And he was like, "Damn, man, I thought this was fake." And I was like, "Damn, that's the same thing I told Pink. That's crazy."
Dude, I'm telling you, man. So, quick context. In their last game, France beat Paraguay. Paraguay was despicable. They fouled nonstop. They were just a bunch of assholes the entire game. When France was finally awarded a penalty, they basically huddled around. Okay, so when you're awarded a penalty, the other team usually gets upset. And so one of the things they do is they'll kind of go to wherever the ball's going to be spotted. And typically they just kind of like, talk trash, kind of stand in your way. So a common tactic is to have another player grab the ball and go stand there and kind of take that. And the real penalty kicker stands away from the fray. So that's what happened.
Gotcha.
Dembele grabs the ball. It's like 5 Paraguayan guys all yelling and carrying on. And then one of the Paraguayan guys actually starts with his cleat trying to dig up the penalty spot and mess up the grass, which is just bush league nonsense. This is Paraguay, so fuck you.
Not sure I've seen that.
This is who they are, and so that all goes down. And Mbappe steps up, hits the penalty, and then he mocks the guy. Whenever he scores, sometimes the goalie does something weird. He'll kind of he's running away from the goal. He'll impersonate what the guy did wrong, and then start laughing. So he's a pretty epic troll. And so it was a hotly contested game. When France finally wins, there was they start celebrating, and then there's a skirmish in the middle of the field. Mbappe literally just went around yelling and celebrating. So the goalie, it was probably about as close as we are together. He went to kind of shake Mbappe's hand, and Mbappe just doesn't even look at him and just starts going, yeah, yeah. And the guy throws the ball at Mbappe when he passes. Yeah. So Paraguay, again, I saw this after the match. They have a long history of having essentially a Nazi party. And if you look at the composition of their team, they're all like white Latin players. They don't have any black players on the team. And then, not surprisingly, in the aftermath of the game, some politician in Paraguay makes this just wildly racist comments.
Yeah.
And that they seem fake because you're reading who would say this? This is kind of just crazy.
Yeah.
And sure enough, they said it. So Mbappe responded and basically said, you're a miserable racist. Your actions now have kind of negated any positive feeling that the team's performance had, and whatever. And then then she kind of threatened him back, and then obviously the French president spoke, who's a good friend of Mbappe, and then also the United Nations actually supported Mbappe in this situation too.
Yeah.
So it's just become this crazy weird story, but it's just, again, like I just said, there was a turning point in this World Cup where it was kind of cool and kind of fun, and it's just gotten really bad. Just on this, the fact that we're talking about this that this is a talking point of the World Cup and all that. It's ridiculous. It's just bad for the game. The first 2 weeks, like when it was the group play and everybody's playing, it was like a lot of cool stories, cool energy, fans interacting, international fans interacting with like American people and this and that, and Jameis running around. And like, we're past that.
Yeah,
we're way past this.
Now, aside from this, but on the same rhymestone there, Black Twitter, kind of following the World Cup, their thing is like, okay, a lot of these predominantly black teams are getting kicked out. So who do we follow now? Who do we root for now? And so I asked you the same question. Is it France now that would have more, fair to darker skinned guys on the team, or is there another team that we're missing that we need to be following and rooting for now that's left in the field?
We're down to at this point we have France, who is a predominantly black team. Mm-hmm. The majority, and this is like this thing with, and part of the ladies' comments were that he's this like non-French guy or whatever. Like, to my understanding, all the French players were born in France. Now, they may be one generation or whatever, 2 generations removed from being from an African country. Like in the instance of Mbappe, his mother, I believe, is Algerian and his father's Cameroonian. But he was born in France, grew up his whole life in France, and that's the situation of many of the players on the team. So there are immigrants, no doubt, but they are the face of the nation, and so that's and they play with a style, they play with with in a manner that you would want to see and want to appreciate.
Well, when I watched them, you could say that's the best team in the whole thing. Now there's another team that I forgot, but they only gave up like 1 goal or 0 even this entire thing.
Spain.
Okay, Spain. Yes.
So it's got to but the irony is that France plays Morocco, who is an African country.
Yeah.
But their Moroccan team, a lot of them are kind of the lighter skinned people who I guess is common in Morocco. Then you have Spain, which they have maybe 2-3 black players, and they're very good. They haven't conceded any goals. They're very tough to play with. They possess the ball a ton. I find them annoying and boring to watch, but
so it's not even like they. Well, I'm sure their defense is elite, but it's not so much the defense. It's the style they play as well.
They possess the ball. Most games they have the ball, so like you don't end up with that many chances to score.
It's like a football team who just runs
high
the ball.
Time of possession.
Yeah, high time of possession.
Like and dink and dunk. They're actually more like a dink and dunk pass.
Okay.
Like like some of those Tom Brady teams are just throwing like the little short passes and grinding up the clock.
80 yards.
That's Spain. Yeah. Then you have Belgium. They are a European team. They're kind of a predominantly white team, but they do have black players. That's that side. Then you have England, who has a number of black players.
Yeah, I saw that.
In their team, they're playing Norway, who has 1, I think.
And it always surprises me how many black people are in England. Period. Like there's a ton of black people over there. It's crazy.
Like you have to, like, when you talk about like England, when you talk France, Netherlands, a lot of countries they have like a significant black community.
Yeah.
And like when you talk, there's 54 players in this World Cup for different teams that were born in Paris. There are 84 94 players who are born in France who are playing in this World Cup. So there's like a lot of the guys that are playing for the African teams were born in France.
Yeah.
And chose to play for French teams, or for African teams. So that's kind of the thing that you're dealing with. But England, they have black community, they have black English culture, they have their own hip hop, and France has as well. And so some of that is there. So that's the thing. Switzerland is another team. They actually have a handful of black players, which you would not think of, but they do. And then they're going to play Argentina, who's all white as can be. Yeah. And then that's it. So that's your 8 teams. So you really got France, and if you want to root for a true, team representing an African country, is Morocco, and they play each other. So one way or the other, it's not going to go well.
Yeah.
Other than that,
No, 100%.
One team you don't need to root for is Argentina, who's just.
I don't root for Argentina. I root for Messi.
Don't root for him either.
I gotta root for
He's
Messi.
a piece of shit, man.
He's the GOAT.
He's a piece of shit.
All pieces of shit.
No, he is.
Kobe was a piece of shit, but we root for him.
No. We're not talking that level. There's nothing more than I want for them to lose.
I
But
just enjoy watching them play, man. I get so much joy watching them play. And it's like,
I get so much anger watching them play and
Now-
watching them benefit from every call.
now the new guys, you put me on the Norway guy. I watched
Holland.
Holland. I watched 2 of his games, not full games, but
Yeah.
more than a half. And he's been really fucking good. And then of
Yeah.
course, Mbappe's and stuff like that. He's on the best team.
Watched Norway, England. You'll have Holland for Norway, and then Harry Kane's a great player, but the guy to watch is Jude Bellingham.
Jude Bellingham, I've heard of that.
Yeah,
name
he
too.
plays for Real Madrid. He's a big
Yeah.
star. He had 2 goals in the Mexico game.
Yeah, I heard of that name for sure.
Yeah, he's something to watch.
Okay.
There was an epic clip. I don't know if you saw it. So I think it might have been right near the end of the game, or it might have been during the game against Mexico. The Mexican coach kind of calls Bellingham over, and he's like, "Hey, can I get your shirt after the game? I want to give it to my father-in-law." And Bellingham appears to agree, and he kind of smiles. And the Mexican coach like standing there, and then he calls Gordon, who's another English player, and Gordon moves towards him. He goes, "Fuck you," and then he laughs like he makes this like demonic laugh, and then Gordon laughs back. It was just funny.
Oh man. To end the show here, because I didn't add this into the NBA part when we talked about it earlier. But you have Cleveland, who gives Donovan the Supermax. Did you see that?
You did.
So they gave him a boatload of money, and so the thing about where the NBA is headed towards, and we talked about this a ton, but it's even different now because the NBA rules, they really hammer teams who head into that second apron, who are over the tax, who spend a ton of money. And so that really is why Boston was scared away into trading Jaylen Brown, because they just really did not want to have 2 players that took up that amount of the cap.
Yeah, Brad
to
gave a
get them
press
into the second
conference.
apron. And he
Yeah.
basically, that's
Yeah.
what he said.
Yeah, and he said, and like again, he said, look at the teams that have had success, and you look at OKC at the time, they're really paying primarily Shea, and then they're haven't yet really paid. Now they paid what's his name this year, Williams, but he was kind of injured or whatever, and then I'm sure he also was kind of low-key referring to Indiana's run to the finals, and then the Spurs, because they're not really paying people like that yet.
But the problem with that, and this is going to turn the NBA into the NFL, but the difference in the sport is what's going to make it bad, because in the NBA, what's going to happen is now draft picks are extremely important, because that's going to be the fabric of your team. You have to heavily rely on your first round draft pick to be really good within the first 4 years. And in the NBA, that does not happen. Even if you get a fucking alien, literally, in Wemby, if you get fucking LeBron James, those guys don't win in the first 4 years. And so when you have them on a rookie contract versus like an NFL, there's a long history of quarterbacks. If you get a good quarterback on a rookie deal, you have a steal. That's not the same in NBA, but that's what the NBA is changing. It's moving into.
Well, yeah, it's trending in that direction. That was exactly the point I was thinking about. Is that you're gonna have to, maybe you could, your ideals, you're gonna have a window where you're gonna, maybe I'm paying one guy at the high market rate, and I'm gonna have a window while I've got these other talented guys before I have to pay them or make a decision on paying them.
But you have the one good guy in Tatum, and you're going to be in playoffs. You're going to be in the playoffs. So it's like, ideally, you're not going to get a top 3 pick.
No, I know. I think it's incomplete on how it works out. Maybe you're just gonna, you're gonna.
Adam has to change this. Is what I'm saying.
No, I agree because
He just has to change
I
this.
don't, and again, I'm all about the Spurs. I don't like the idea that maybe 3 years from now they're gonna have to make some really, in some most stupid decisions on how to construct a roster from guys that they drafted and helped develop and should benefit from. And, to have a continuing competitive roster. It's just not in the interest of the sport the way they've structured the pay and the way they've structured the penalties for being above the tax. I'm not in favor of it. I think it ruins the game of basketball. I think it's really terrible when good teams that have done the right stuff, whether through the draft or free agent moves, essentially can't stay together because of these financial constraints.
It's super dumb. Now, I heard a great plan, an idea, which was to give a discount. Like okay, so say, Jason Tatum or whatever, right? So the next time he's up for his deal or whatever, you say, okay, his cap, Jason Tatum's cap, 20% off, Jason Tatum's contract, 20%.
You pay the contract, whatever it is,
to the
then
player.
You get a reduction for cap purposes
relief
of 20 or 30% or whatever.
For any player that has been on your team for X amount of years, you come up with the arbitrary number.
Yeah.
So no incoming free agents would get that deal. This is to give credit to teams who keep their teams together,
right?
For a decent amount of time.
Sure,
right. But so I like that. But other than that, man, like the Cavs, they're fucked. Paying Donovan Mitchell
like
that
to
amount
me,
of money,
just stop with
done.
these apron penalties.
Yeah.
Like, just stop with them.
Yeah.
They're not good for the game.
So you said just take that out.
Take it all out. Yes.
Yeah.
You want to have a cap? That's fine. We can still keep our Larry Bird rights, so we have a way to keep our best players and whatever. But stop with the taxes.
Yeah.
Like, it's stupid.
Now the argument on their side, Adam's side, is we have created a world where every team is in play. And that's what they wanted. So they wanted to end the super teams, the dynasties and all of that. And they wanted to where all 30 teams feel like they have a chance to win. So that's the reason why they're doing this.
Yeah,
So,
I just fundamentally disagree.
Yeah.
I would, again, we're not rewarding them. We're just removing a penalty for teams that develop and do the right things.
Yeah.
Like, you should be rewarded for being good.
You should.
It should be a meritocracy, not an idiocracy.
Yeah.
That's what we're doing. We just want to randomly just do this. And the reality is, okay, depending on where the great players are, you have a championship window or championship opportunity. And whether that was in Milwaukee, in Oklahoma City, then they always face we're going to have to break this up. We're going to have to make these sacrifices financially. It doesn't make sense. I'm okay with the team recognizing, hey, this player's aging. He's on the cusp. We're not going to, extend him in the situation we're in. We'll move him or whatever. Or I don't want to be paying, James Harden or Chris Paul or one of these guys $45 million a year when they're no longer a $45 million a year player. Those are smart financial decisions like that the good teams make to let those players move on or cycle them back for younger assets or picks. But just take these punitive things out of the way. They're just, I don't think it's helping the game at all, and it's forcing teams to just make tough decisions.
Yeah, 100%. Well,
but just
go
talking about young guys. Peterson looks great.
Yeah, he's having.
He really he looks like he could be a day one impact guy.
And he plays against AJ tomorrow.
Okay,
We'll be watching that game. Big Camp, he's actually flying out to train our guy in Utah. That is from D-Land.
Oh, Blake.
So
He's
he'll
gonna
be
train him?
in Vegas He's going to be a part of that training staff or whatever. So they're flying him out. So yeah, he'll be in Vegas. So you right now it's the Utah Summer League.
Yeah.
But most of those teams are going to be in the main Summer League.
Yeah, Vegas, everyone's gonna be participating.
But what we talked about this off air one time, like Blake is only going to play in 1 or 2 games, and I
He's
hate
already
that.
played in like 3.
Well, in the Utah.
Yeah.
But Vegas is like the main Summer League. That's one that's
Right,
going to be
right.
heavily televised. That's where all the teams are going to be. Utah is like for what and I understand Utah Jazz has to be in the Utah Summer League. You know what I mean? But it's the brother, sister or something. It's like, it's whatever.
Yeah, invite 3 or 4 teams. And
Yeah.
play a couple games,
And so, but when they go over there, most of the guys that have played all of the games in the Utah Summer, they're only going to play 1 or 2 in Vegas to avoid, whatever, injuries and whatnot. And
to avoid being entertaining.
but we are going to get the AJ Peterson game. I'll love to watch that.
Yeah.
And there's been some other guys too who have been playing well, but Peterson has been he's been the draw.
Yeah, I mean he's
So
just
far.
hit it straight away, like looking like he's the real deal.
And like we talked about last week, Utah there's a decent team, man.
Yeah,
It's a
I
decent
think
team.
They've become very interesting.
Yeah, it become interesting. Yeah.
I think they still have Sensabaugh, don't they, or no?
I don't know.
Okay, was a Lake Highland guy.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
So they have potentially the Jazz have 2 local guys.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah,
All righty. Well, that's been the show today.
yes, we are out.
Catch you guys next week.
Oh Jesus!
Imagine multiple.
Cut through the texture of pasta, I stretch to the father. My demons can't be stressing my daughter. Sweat beating Honda, know it's a rap. Wet enchilada.
Deion Sanders is the greatest football player, arguably, to ever live. Ed Reed, the greatest safety, arguably, to ever live in the entire universe. All right? Why y'all not going on live? Miami been trashed for fucking how long now? God damn.
I like you got on some skates. I like you got on some skates. I like you got on some skates.
I want somebody in the event, something like, say like, I love oxtail. If I can eat some that tastes like oxtails while I'm down there, just for that moment.
He's on my back. You know what I mean? And, I think